Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Brace for Impact, coming at you live every single Tuesday, like we always do. Promise we'll never late. We'll never ever be late. I promise. I swear. Benny is like, he's not frozen. He's just doing that
Okay.
multiple times over and over. The
Why
soccer
would I be
celebration,
frozen if I'm consistently moving? So
like you like in a second a loop, you know. Anyways,
yeah, it's like a GIF. Anyway, don't GIF that, please.
you're stuck. You're done. It's over.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 40. It's 42 now, Parks. So you couldn't even believe we were in the 40s. You totally forgot about the 30s. Unlike me,
I was about
remember.
to say I'm not going to remark on the fact that you are in your 30s. So
I hate you so much. I knew you were gonna go there too.
Yeah,
like
you
I
did.
knew.
As
Anyway,
soon as you
but
said
yeah,
it, you're like, oh no, I'm opening
I,
this
yeah,
up
I,
way too
yeah, I
much.
know. It was too late by then. We just commit.
Yeah.
But no, it's 42. It's great, and it's spring. Thankfully, it's warm. I went golfing 3 times already. It's fantastic, and we've got a fantastic episode in store for all of you. Let's start. Where do you want to start? I think we start with results, right?
I think we
Because the
start with
news is
results.
kind of an after
The
effect
easiest way
of
to
the
get
results.
I think the easiest way to get through everything is just to kick off with the results. We've got the final week of play, and then the playoffs in Europe to go through.
Yes.
So we're actually gonna start in South America, and the reason we're starting in South America was actually
It was easy.
it was easy. Yeah, it was pretty easy. The
Yeah.
only match that you had to really pay attention to on that final day was Fluxo Demons
Fluxo
and
v
Furia, and that was a banger of a matchup. It ended up going 2-1 in the way of Fluxo Demons. They take the win. They lost the first map 13-9. They came back, stormed in 13-6, and then 13-11. Took it all the way. I will get to see Poppins and Poppins' family, hopefully as well, in Dallas. That'll be sick because they are always fun to be around. The loudest people in any area. They will always be screaming and supporting their family, and that is what Fluxo Demons are. They're a family, so get to see the family once again pop it in.
Be wary. I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah.
Be wary. Oh, European, North American, Asian teams going to Dallas. Fluxo about to tear it up, bro.
Yeah.
And the reason why, I just want to say, first off, great series, right? Obviously, you mentioned it. The nuke, I want to point out, because that was 13-6.
Yeah.
Way back. Cast your mind way back. Season 1, right? Finals. CLG's playing Furia. CLG picks nuke. Furia absolutely smoke him on it, right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Milk after that series, and he says the thing about nuke is Furia are so good at nuke that all the other Brazilian teams just ban it against them, so they never play it. This is the exact same, right? Like, but now with Fluxo, because Fluxo's played it multiple times, and they haven't been able to. Furia haven't been able to beat them on it recently.
Right.
So it's one of these things where Fluxo are very good on nuke, and so I have a feeling a lot of teams don't really go towards nuke. They might leave it in the map pool. The other thing I want to say is we got a big piece of news that I'm going to drop. We should do it in the news, but I'm going to drop it now. Valve obviously has swapped maps out of the map pool, right? Overpass is out. Dust 2 is in. What do you remember what we said about Dust 2 and Brazilian sides before it left the map
honestly,
pool?
it's so long ago.
All of them play it.
Right.
Every Brazilian team plays Dust 2. It is the South American version of Mirage. You know how North America does nothing but play Mirage? That's the only map they can play.
We play Ancient now, actually.
Okay, fair enough. But point is, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That is Dust 2 in Brazil. So now you bring Dust 2 back in. You've got Brazilian teams left, right, and center who are playing it. You've got no other Brazilian competition at this land, by the way, because they only gave one spot to the region.
Yeah.
So
it's wild.
Fluxo are about to tear it up at this land. But anyway, going back to this series, 13-11 on Vertigo. It came down to the final round of regulation again. We talked about it. Masters Femenina, Vertigo. It went 30 rounds then because it was Go. Masters Femenina 8, right? Came down to it, 16-14 for Fluxo. Here we are again, round 24, 13-11 for Fluxo. What a series. What an absolute series.
Other results coming through then from the rest of the rest of South American grouping. Genki got a forfeit win over MIBR. MIBR just said, well, no point in playing. We're not going to play. I guess. I don't know. There's the only note that says is MIBR female forfeited the match is what it is. KG female.
They had to forfeit the match because they were in the Global Esports Tour Rio.
Right. We will get
which
to
we'll
that.
talk about, and they had so many delays that it ran into a schedule conflict.
There you go. I'm glad that you read that article. I read the headline and went, oh, that's bad. And we'll get to that one though. KG female went up against Atrix. Atrix took that one a nice neat. W7M going up against Davina. A closer match, very close match. W7M taking it 2-0 over top of Davina though. So that ends the season. Fluxo, like I said, will be headed to Dallas. Furia, MIBR, and Atrix are all locked in for next season. No issues. That is everything really from South America. So we await to see them in Dallas in a little over a month's time, and or about a month's time now. There's a month left. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's coming up fast. All right.
I'm still gutted. I'm not going.
Yeah.
Let's move on though to North America. Right. Let's not make it about me. No window pointing memes just yet. But we're gonna go over to North America, right?
Yep.
And there was quite a bit to actually pay attention to in this one. There was a chance that Shimmer, Karma, and Limitless could have all come down to a 3-way tie. It was absolutely insane. I don't remember the permutations.
It was basically
part, but
if Karma won and the Angels won against Shimmer, and there was a certain amount of round difference between them, Karma could have gone. If Shimmer lost to Angels and Karma lost to Cleanup Crew, Angels would go. If Shimmer won at least a map, or no, if Shimmer won, they were through. And then if Shimmer at least won one map in the series against the Angels, and Karma won their series against Cleanup Crew, they would go over the Angels. So all the permutations can really come down to those. Is like it was win and you're in for Shimmer, and it was Karma. If Karma win, they can potentially dash the hopes of the Angels. So
yeah,
really the fate, it was everything. All the fate was in Shimmer's hands. And
oh yeah, let's start with the irrelevance though, shall we? FlyQuest 2-0 over Nouns. 13-6, 13-2. Not relevance in terms of the teams. Irrelevant in terms of the matches. They were all these were dead rubbers. These were dead rubbers. Wanagoon's Bandits over Coven, so the Bandits at least finished with a win. 13-5, 13-4. That prompted to some strange tweet from FlyQuest where they're like, "We're the 5-time undefeated North American." Mate, nobody's giving you a trophy for that. Okay.
okay.
Nobody's giving you. Go to Dallas and win one, will you? But it was just an odd tweet to put out, Parks. It just was a stupid tweet. Anyway, the actual matches that mattered, Karma versus Cleanup Crew, and Karma cleaned up the crew quite well. 13-3, 13-5. It was pretty one-sided in the end.
Yeah.
The big series, though, Angels versus Shimmer, Nuke and Vertigo, 13-7, 13-8. Points all across the board. Shimmer out here playing cribbage. Playing CS at the same time.
Do you want a really good story?
Go ahead
about this one. So this matchup was on the Friday, and of course this was the Friday leading up to Launder's Land. So I was driving up to Toronto to pick up Mr. Why Not Tony himself from the Union bus stop in Toronto. So I had to drive downtown. So I have about an hour drive, and by the time I leave, you have to remember, because the long series between Furia and Fluxo, this game was also on the final stream. It didn't start until a little bit later, so it started around 8 o'clock, which ended up kind of working in my favor because it meant that while I was in the car, like I could listen to the entire match. So I'm listening to Apples, and I forget who else was casting that match.
I think Affinity.
No, it wasn't Affinity. It had to be I think it was Veerless, or it was Veerless, or it was Nauri.
Yes,
man, it was either her or Sam, basically. And so, anyways, I'm listening to the matchup, and I'm getting to a certain point, and it's like, okay, they need to close this out. Like it's Nuke. Like we know, I know they're a really good Nuke team, because for not playing Nuke at all, when we brought it to Fragadelphia, we took it to Revel the first time and won a map, or nearly won the map off them. And of course, the second time around weren't so lucky. Anyways, practice Nuke a little bit. Coming into it, Angels, they come off to a flying start, whatever. I'm like, okay, this is bad. Like I don't know, like we were talking about it earlier. Like I don't know what's happening. They needed to close it out, and they win the map. And at the end of winning the map, I'm celebrating already. I'm like, whatever happens now, as long as Karma wins, they go to Dallas. They've done that. They've secured the map. Secured that. We're fine. And then, because the match had taken so long to start, and because Karma had been so, like, they played their match so
Dominant.
quickly,
Yeah.
it was like over basically. And this match had taken a while because I think there was a few tech pauses and everything.
Yeah.
By the time the first matchup of Shimmer versus Limitless Angels was done, Karma and Cleanup Crew had already finished their match. So the announcement came over after the end of the first map that Karma had beaten Cleanup Crew in a swift 2-0 fashion. And when I tell you I lost it in that car, I lost it. I'm driving
Love it.
120 kilometers on the highway, just zooming towards Toronto to go pick up my bestie.
Legally, of
And
course. Legally.
legally zooming. I would not have gotten pulled over. Like, I was within the limits.
Okay.
The Canadian limits. I was within the Canadian limits. Um anyways, I'm zooming across. I recorded a video. I'm hoping that Ping will have it in the vlog video cuz I took like a bunch of like vlog style stuff for us to have like a little like Laundersland vlog. But there's a video of me just screaming and losing my mind and like celebrating in my car, just in the dark on my own traveling towards Toronto. And I think I shared it with the girls. I don't remember if I shared it with the shimmies, but um yeah,
Like
it
you
was a
call them the
special
shimmies?
time.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
anyways, that's my
Anyway.
story. Shimmer through. I have accommodations in Dallas now secured.
Nice. Let's go.
And I will be in Dallas
Congratulations.
chilling out. Yeah,
Congratulations, Parks, and to the team as well, obviously, right?
100%.
Um, but yeah, so it'll be FlyQuest and Shimmer. I actually think this might be the first time that we see Shimmer able to win a series, like a second seed North America able to win a series.
Yeah.
You know, they did. Season 1 was the last time they did.
Yeah, and
If you remember,
it was Please Send Help that beat ATK, I want to
ATK.
say.
Yeah.
So
Yep. ATK. So yeah, but I think that Shimmer are definitely the best any number 2 seed has looked. Like
yeah.
we've come a long way as a region from the dark days of Saints and EG Gold. So
I don't think Saints that dirty. Like, they were okay. Like, they had some pieces in there that were really
yeah,
good.
they were
But
they were fine as a team, but it's the fact that like they literally went to the event as a pug team. And
yeah, I mean,
they
Scrap
had
not being able to
it's
join
not
them
like the
sucked.
other. Yeah, it's not like season 1 where they had to stand in with Scrap, and it's not like season 1 where there was a region that was very clearly probably the worst region in the world there, right?
Yeah,
And I hate to say that. I mean, no disrespect for South Africa. Absolutely love that region and the teams. But very clearly they were the weakest region there,
yeah,
right?
100%.
And it's that wasn't the case in season 2. They weren't there at all. So you had essentially a pug team go up against a full tournament depth of professional sides. Like there was just no chance. You know what I mean? I would argue that Saints' performance there was way better than EG Gold's at the season 2 finals. Because that was complete capitulation, to be honest with you. But that's besides the point. Anyway, let's get into the region that mattered or that had a lot
Had
more
the
games. Let's
most
just say,
coming
yeah, had
through.
the most games, coming through, and that is Europe. And this was a wild one. This was such an insane finish. So we'll start with week 7, and I'll let you do the playoffs. Week 7, Group A. Big 2-1 to NIP. That was a big matchup because the winner got into the playoffs. The loser was out.
Yeah.
And NIP won the first map, and then they went to overtime on map 3. So you couldn't ask for anything better. In the end, 6-13, 13-5, 16-14. Big make the playoffs. NIP it's a continued slow decline, my friend. They went from almost making it, losing in the 9 pandas, losing the 9 pandas again, but beating Nigma, so they were a little bit higher,
Yeah.
to not being able to beat either of them, to now they can't even beat 3 teams in the group. It's the slow downward spiral.
I don't think it's a downward spiral. I think it's his
It's a
results.
slide. It's certainly a slide.
I think they didn't win this matchup, and I think Big were deserving of winning this matchup, and I think Big have shown themselves to be growing. I think it's Big are growing faster than NIP are getting better because I've seen the results. NIP are moving if they're not moving upwards, they're at least moving laterally. And I think there are other results that point towards them doing a lot better than what you.
I completely disagree. I think their trajectory has been slowly down, and Big has been slowly up, and ENCE has been up and down. But I mean, this is an NIP side that beat Nigma
Yeah.
twice, and they go and they can't beat Guild, and they can't beat Big. You know what I mean? Like that's not a good look. That's not improvement. That's the opposite, right? And you could say different lineups, whatever. The point is, as an organization, they have not taken progressive steps to getting better. They have regressed. And, the culmination of that was losing to Big and not making the playoffs this time at all, whereas in previous seasons they made the playoffs. Ents 2-1 to Stralis, by the way, 9-13, 13-7, 13-9. It was a dead rubber. Both teams were relegated, and honestly, it was expected. Astralis just really weren't up to snuff. But they say it's about developing talent. It's a great opportunity to. Obviously, they got to play 5 best of 3s against the top talent in Europe. And they do have some pieces in there that look like they're going to be future stars. Pigeons would 2-0 Guild. That would end any hope of Guild potentially making the land direct from qualification. So Pigeons are through to Dallas. Group B, Navi would take care of VP Angels, but 13-8, 16-14 Parks. It took overtime on the Inferno. A little bit wary of this Inferno coming out of NIP. I'm sorry, not
Navi.
NIP, Navi, I should say. And I don't want to say it's Inferno in general, but they definitely look weak on a few maps. They've actually dropped Vertigo twice throughout the seasons. Once was to Spirit as well. And then obviously the other one was to the Fearless Cheetahs at the start of the season. So there's cracks in the armor for me if I'm Navi. We'll see if they can tighten things up when they go to LAN. Lettercook beat Spirit. This was the thing. Lettercook was supposed to disband. It was listed on the website as a forfeit win, but they came back and played the series and actually denied Spirit the hopes of the playoffs. So 8-13, 13-2, 13-7. Lettercook made the playoffs. Fearless would 2-0 one-win gang after one win took Ancient pretty impressively, 13-11. So it was 11-13, 13-10, 13-4. So one-win gang, they certainly didn't go out without a fight, right?
Yeah,
They
sure.
certainly didn't go out without a fight. They beat Lettercook, which turned into a playoff team. So that left you with the playoffs, by the way. Guild versus Lettercook. Fearless Cheetahs versus Big. I had said on Twitter in reply to somebody that I would have fancied Fearless Cheetahs in the playoffs to win it all. Parks, we didn't get that. Run us through.
Yeah, no, Fearless Cheetahs going up against a very strong Big Akipa. It went the full distance to 3 maps. 13-7 on Nuke, 13-8 on Vertigo for Fearless Cheetahs, and then Big Akipa take it all the way home on Ancient, 13-10. So, congratulations to Big. They will be in Dallas. Huge for them. It's the first time they're back at an event since, I want to say, Valencia.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's been a while, and of course that's not even an Impact LAN, or sorry, that wasn't even an Impact.
It was a
Finals
standalone
LAN.
event.
It was a standalone event when we had those. So,
yeah.
great to see from that. Yeah, must be nice. On the other side,
just one note on that, by the way. Jenny R and Zana are the only original members of that lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to remember Giuliano Chiosa are both new players. Pauly as well, who was a player for NIP.
That's what I was going to point out. What did we say about Pauly, right? When she was on NIP, looked great. And then where did she go after that? Did she go to G2? Did she go straight to Big?
Went straight to Big, yeah.
And they improved. They pick up Giuliano and Chiosa, by the way. Young talent Chiosa, by the way, that you were not going to get to see on LAN. Same with Pauly. Okay. Pauly's the real deal. I don't know how to explain it. Results matter. When you're on a team, I know it's a team effort and all that. Don't get me wrong. Giuliano, Jenny, they all have a say. But when you are on a team and you find the way to win games, which is what Pauly has done, you got a lot going for you. So I really like this. And it's the return of the GOAT. It's the first women's Counter-Strike LAN for Giuliano since the 2019 DreamHack Showdown Valencia, I believe.
That's huge. That's
at least in terms of an international LAN, right?
Yeah,
she might have played another LAN that was all Europe, but in terms of a global LAN, that's the very first one. By the way, she won that event back then in 2019. So, a huge return for Giuliano as well. So big congrats to Big there. Anyway, continuing on with the other series part.
Yeah, Guild Esports going up against Lettercook, and I mean, you look at this one on page and you go, okay. Lettercook, they just lost Kezi to retirement. She's retired. They're now playing with Manaskyne again, who of course played for them originally on Guild or not Guild, when they were on Gamer Legion, and then a bunch of stuff happened. Menaskine was out, they replaced her. Now she's coming back into the side, and all of a sudden things are looking good. She's moving, she's grooving. Everybody on that team is moving, grooving, and let her cook. They take the first map 13-11. They then lose second map. It was a 13-10 in favor of Guild. And then you get to the final map, and it goes the distance. We go to overtime on Mirage, 16-14 in favor of Let Her Cook. So Guild, in the final week of play, unfortunately, they struggled a lot. They struggled mightily against Pigeons. You have to remember, if they had beaten Pigeons, they wouldn't be doing this. It would be Pigeons going up against Let Her Cook.
Did you mean Cheetahs?
No, it's Guild.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. If Guild beat Pigeons in week 7 on Friday, if they had beaten them on the Friday, they would not have had to play on Saturday, because it would have been the same. They both would have gone 4-1, and because Guild beat them in the head-to-head, it would have been Guild over top. However, that being said, it is awesome to see Let Her Cook coming, because now all of a sudden you have an unsigned team from Europe now making the journey over to Dallas to show, hey, we're still here, we're still around. And the bigger, I think a bigger point to this as well is, like Astra had said, I'm done. I'm looking for other opportunities. I'm doing other things, and Menaskine coming back has given them the 5 they needed to play. I don't know. They're going to take it pretty seriously, because they're going to a big LAN and everything. This is a huge opportunity for them to get picked up by a team. But like, that's just a whole thing of like, towards the end, like for other tournaments and stuff, they were just they might be forfeiting matches because they didn't want to play. They didn't know what they were doing. And to come together in the last few days of the season and say, we're doing that, we're going to play this game, we'll see what happens, and to just take it away, like that's huge. Because they had to win. They had to win against Spirit to even get to this opportunity.
Story? Is it my story time?
Yeah, it's your story time.
Okay. So I actually wasn't watching the playoffs. I beg your pardon. I had to go back and watch the VODs.
Yeah.
Because I was golfing during that time, right? So I'm golfing, and I'm waiting on the group in front. We're on like 12 or something, right? And I get on Twitter, and I scroll, and the first tweet I see when I hit the top, because I have mine on latest feed. I don't do the
right.
The first tweet that was recently tweeted is Astra going, "Finally, I've made it to LAN." And I let out the biggest. I was like, "Yes, yes!" That's I swear. And the people I'm golfing with, I got paired with, looked at me and were like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Sports, you won't get it." Or I didn't say you won't get it, but I was like, "It's sports. It's a sports thing."
Sports.
And I didn't want to explain it. You know what I mean?
You don't. If you're doing
and they
something,
understood. They understood.
If you say something like that, people just know. They're like, "Oh, he's having like, this is something important to him." Like, it would take him too long to explain to us.
Yeah, exactly. But I am so happy that she got back on LAN. I'm happy for Menaskine because it's obviously the redemption arc, if you will. I am so happy for Astra. I'm happy for Rachel, who's one of the OGs. How many times I've heard Cowday say it in an interview with FlyQuest that she played with Rachel, and Rachel helped get her into Counter-Strike, and they started the team back then. And we're getting to see Rachel on the LAN. I am so happy for her.
This is a huge LAN for the French women, by the way.
Yeah.
Because now there's going to be, I think that's 3 of them now going. I'm just going to take a quick look. I don't, because there's no...
Double checking.
Yeah,
it's 3.
There's no, there's no, I was about to say, if there's a French woman on big, I'm going to lose my mind, because I swear I didn't see one before. No, it's huge for Let Her Cook. Congratulations to them. I'm so happy I'll get to see them. I know you see the jersey back here with all the signed names.
Yes.
Last year when I went, I was a little too scared to talk to a lot of the teams. This season around, I'm going to be going up to them and be like, "Hey guys,
can we please get signing sessions, DreamHack, please?"
So they did give signing sessions. They gave one to Navi, and there was going to be one for FlyQuest, and they turned it down because they wanted to focus on the event. Which, I mean, they made the playoffs. So it was pretty nice of them. No, they made the playoffs. They got their best result.
That's fair.
Okay, don't be so rude sometimes.
Yeah, you're right. That's out of pocket. I apologize. I apologize to FlyQuest. That was uncalled for.
So then, coming to the big whole thing on this, we will be seeing at Dallas Team Pigeons.
Oh, I was gonna say real quick. A note on EU. They had a 5th place decider.
Yes.
Because apparently, if the team can't go, instead of inviting the next one up in North America because they won't need visas, they're gonna invite another one from Europe. no sense whatsoever. He is selling nonsensical decisions. They go hand in hand. But Guild Esports actually won that 5th place decider over
Right.
Fearless Cheetahs. So it's not even a fact that team can't get visas. They're not going to come to land. We're going to invite Vilga's team. Vilga's team didn't even win the 5th place decider.
Yeah.
So they look so good, Fearless Cheetahs. And I don't know what happened. The last, I would say, 3 weeks, they really
Everything.
fell off the map.
Yeah.
So
Happens. It happens. Is like I said, Guild. They had 2 days in a row where if they win the match, they're into the land, and they lost both. So it happens.
that's true. That's true.
So coming to Dallas, coming to a Dallas near you, not near me. I'm gonna fly in myself as well. Team Pigeons, Navi Javelins, Let Her Cook, Big coming over from Europe. We got FlyQuest Red and Shimmer here for the local teams in North America. From South America, we've got Fluxo Demons coming in, and then of course it was been so long since they qualified, but they won the Asia qualifier. HSG will be there as well, potentially for the last time, because of course next season there is no Asia qualifier. We'll hear more about that probably in the next few months, though, because they might just make the European move, man. They could. 100% they could.
95 is with the team as well, by the way. So Xiao Wu is in the side. Argent is not listed on the side. Our 95 is.
We'll see. We'll see what comes up.
Yeah.
We always got to keep an eye out. Yeah. So that is ESL Impact Season 5 coming closer and closer to a close. Like I said, we will be back in a month's time with the finals. Of course, I'll be there, so we'll see it done. But otherwise, yeah, great to see coming in that. All right.
Yeah.
Other results.
Yes. So there was a Fast Cup, a Sakura Cup, $300 5v5 tournament. I believe it was the same weekend, if I remember correctly. So you didn't get a lot of the big teams because it was the same weekend. So Blue Jays played in it, by the way. Remember that new side that we talked about last? Yeah. X-Forza played in it as well. Blue Jays won one round, got to the quarterfinals, and I'm sorry, they did a lower bracket. Is what they did. Ooh, it was a double elim. Yeah, it looks like it.
Sure, I see one that's single elimination.
No, you're right. I'm sorry. It's the website. The website's
yeah. You were looking. You got up to the semifinals.
So yeah. I was looking at the wrong round. Sorry. So they got into the quarters. They actually got into the quarters with a 13-5 win. Immediately went out to a side called Whiskey. I don't know if that's the former More Whiskey, but whatchamacallit, X-Forza actually went out to a team called 5-Stack Demons, which was Kitty TM, Ivana, Anakin, and Monica, if you remember. Madam also on that side.
Yep.
So a few names that we've known of. And then they actually lost to a team called Mojito Peak, who went on to win the whole event. And Mojito Peak was Urbitka, you remember, former one-win gang. Miley as well.
Yep.
Was in that side. So that was the Fast Cup. Yeah. So Mojito Peak with the win.
Yeah, another notable team that didn't really make a deep run at all was Violet. Were in there.
Yes.
They only made it to the round of 16. What it is, or is it the round of 8? Yeah, they made it to the round of 8 because round of 8 then quarterfinals. So they made it to the round of 8, which wasn't really that hard to do. I think they got to buy into that, and they unfortunately Oh no, they played a team. So they played a team and they won, and lost in the second match. But hey, they were there. They played, right? That's the whole thing. Get your reps in, get the games going. So that is Sakura Cup, Fast Cup number 4. They've got a 5th one on the way, I believe, as well. They keep going with these, which is nice. There's a few other cups that are, multiple editions now. They've kind of gotten their grounding, so really cool to see all those through. Other things that kind of happened as well in terms of results. We had Get Rio come through.
What a mess!
What a mess! That's not, unfortunately, it's not going to really be something that we can keep up with. It's a big story for somebody else to do. The biggest things, I guess, to say were that MIBR had to forfeit their match because of all the delays that were being occurred by this.
So it was just, and first off, CS wasn't even supposed to be played at this LAN.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Valorant, Fortnite, in Honor of King, and then after they changed the dates a third time, they did CS be mentioned. So then some teams went down there, and then they had an incident where OG wanted to print their tactics out on sheets of paper,
Yeah.
and the
They had
printer
the
was
printers
broken.
weren't set up.
The TO couldn't fix it, so MIBR found a printer, printed it for them, and then printed a copy out for themselves so that they had the tactics that OG were going to use.
That's great.
Like what a disgrace. So, in terms of the impact side,
Fluxo beat Furia.
Fluxo, Furia, MIBR, and W7M were going to play.
Yep.
But there were so many tech delays that MIBR had to play their match versus Genkid in Impact. The only silver lining to this, which sucks because it actually costed, you would expect MIBR to have beaten Genkid, and I think it actually caused MIBR to finish 6th in the league, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
Yeah.
Which affects the prize money, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah.
But so they wound up getting less prize money for it. Oh no, they finished 3rd. I'm sorry, they still finished 3rd. So okay, so no harm, no foul. But they had to forfeit the match versus Genkid because
Yep.
they figured they'd have a better shot at the LAN, right? But and then of course there was reports that the contractors that they used, obviously for anything lighting, staging, whatever, they couldn't pay on time, and it just was like
In terms of
an
lands,
absolute
it
mess.
was bad. It was really bad.
It was an absolute
The
mess. Yeah.
important thing for us to take away from this was that Fluxo Demons beat Furia, and they got the $5,000 prize pool for first place. And yeah,
It was so bad you would have thought it was an IESF event.
okay.
Hey,
Nice.
hey, throwback to all the. Hey, come on now.
Sure.
You know what happened in Brazil in their IESF event. We've covered it many times.
I would equate it to something else. It wasn't ISF. It was the other one.
It was a national federation that ISF.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what
it was a national federation.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the other women's CS league.
Oh, Gamer Girl.
Gamer Girl. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Gamer Girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, coming in with the final other results coming through. Navi won EPL 1 over, I believe that was Pigeons. We mentioned it last episode. Navi played that night, the night of our episode releasing, and they won. So credit to them.
It's the first time they've beaten Pigeons.
Yes, and
first time they've beaten Pigeons.
And then on the other part of that, Pigeons played in. There was another cup that came through called the Elite FE Cup. Pigeons won that one, so they won the first edition. Crazy results all around. It's nice to see that there is some, like, it's not just Nigma, it's not just Pigeons, you know, like it's not just them at the top. There are other teams that are kind of around, which is really cool to see. Moving on, then we've got a good amount of news to go through here, so we'll just keep motoring on. More rosters being signed and more rosters being dropped.
Yes.
We'll start you.
Yes.
And we've got AKA Hero picking up a team. They picked up Ali, Rocket, Icy, Denied, and Reeby. I don't. It's a
Rebby? I don't know.
It's a primarily Romanian roster, which is pretty cool. And it's got a lot of young prospects.
Yeah, a lot of young talent on here. So Icy's been in a few of the, I want to say, the Fast Cups.
Yeah.
As well. So I think the oldest player on this lineup is 22. So that it's really a young lineup with a lot of potential. 100%. So it's going to be a development lineup, right? Like this is basically what Astralis is doing, but without all the pomp and circumstance, right? So that's essentially what it is. Let's move on to instead of sides getting picked up, unfortunately, the aftermath of the Impact season ending, and that's sides getting dropped. We'll start with VP. The Angels side is no more. VP announcing that they may come back with the new female rosters in the future, but right now they need a reset, and they would like everyone to thank everyone for the time 100%. Is a part of VP. I think because the league has contracted, you're starting to see this, right? Because the idea was that the women's esports movement would capitalize on the women's sports movement that we're seeing in traditional sports right now, right? How they're exploding and whatnot. And that would cause the leagues to grow, and then that would bring in more money to the leagues and then make it more profitable for teams. With obviously ESL removing the standalone events and the prize pools decreasing, it's going the other way.
Yeah.
So I now think you see these orgs seeing the signal and pulling the plug. As such, OneWin have also announced that they are done in the women's Counter-Strike scene.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it's a return to the mean a bit in terms of prize pool and everything like that. I think Impact, they threw in a large amount of, because they expected like huge growth right off the bat, and then from there, they would be able to either hold the prize pool for a few more seasons, or maybe even increase it. I think it hasn't been as a big of a jump that they expected, just because of how Counter Strike is and how scene is treated as a whole. We've seen that
yeah,
over and over again. So
yep.
I think VP dropping their team is fine. They made note, hey, we're gonna look into going back again, and of course that's always gonna be the route you want to take. It could just be as well that the Angels were kind of be like, listen, it didn't really work out for us this season. I think we need to make too many changes for it to be worth it for us. We're gonna get relegated anyways. And they're going, contracts are over, because they might only be signed up for the season, right?
Yeah,
That would make a lot
I'd
of sense
imagine
with the
they're
contracts.
6-month contracts.
Yeah, so um, that the way that all looks, I mean, that's kind of where it is. Sad to see from VP. OneWin, they just didn't get results, man. They looked good. They brought in Fatal as well, who of course played on that 9 Pandas Fearless and looked pretty good on that 9 Pandas Fearless side that made it to so many lands together. So I think for OneWin, it's the same thing of like they're trying to refresh the roster and try and figure everything out. So I don't know if they dropped the entire roster, or they just dropped 3 players, because the graphic only shows 3 players getting dropped, like the only 3 players in
Well,
the graphic. But I don't
you're
know.
right, but
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
I know. It's one of those things. So that is gonna be yeah, and they said this
There
does
was
not
one
mean we
more. There
return
was
to it.
one more. It's not official. It's a rumor
No, okay,
that hit
sorry. There's
Twitter.
2 more. There's 2 more. There's a yeah. So the first one is, the
Yes.
rumor is that Guild is dropping all of their CS teams. So that includes Guild Eagles, who
Yes.
of course were Bad News Eagles, which were the powerhouse side. I think a big reason for this is they didn't qualify for the major, or they didn't
Yeah.
get the sticker money, and that's like always been a huge thing. That's what made those guys so much like that's what kept them going for so long, was they knew if it didn't matter how many other tournaments they qualified for, how many they made it to, as long as they continued in the major cycle, they were always going to be fine. And it was just not true. Just because they didn't make it, they just all of a sudden there's a huge amount of money that Guild were expecting, and their budget is just gone. Included in that, of course, then is also the Guild women's side, who were very close to qualifying. This close, like I mentioned, they had 2 matches that they win either of them, they're through. So huge improvement from them. Kind of sad to see them potentially getting dropped here. We'll see kind of where they sit and where they go, because they could stick together. They could free agent team. They could have another offer on the
Yeah.
table. I don't know what'll happen.
You mean Cheetahs? Is that what you mean?
No, Guild.
Oh, Guild. Yeah, sorry.
The last team, now that you mentioned the last team, we
Yes.
just got word of it today. Vilga announced she's leaving the Cheetahs, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the roster is going to break up as a result. I'm not
Yes,
sure
I saw
what'll stick
Victoria
around.
actually announced as well that she's breaking away from the roster as
So
well. So
that's unfortunate. Again, a really good team that, just the season prior had made it to the LAN. They had a very different roster. They were under an organization. Free agency is a really hard thing. I've known it because I'm wearing the jersey of a free agent team, and how much they've struggled for so long. So stuff happens, and I mean, we know Vilga is a winning player. We know she's got a winning mindset. And she finds her way onto a team that's missing a piece, or in terms of like an IGL, in terms of experience. Sky could potentially be the limit for them. So it's really sad to see. That also opens up the avenue for a team getting to stay in the league, because of Cheetahs basically disbanding, unless a core part of that roster sticks together, enough of the roster sticks together and adds pieces around them as free agents that entice, like they have enough of enticement to bring players in on a free
yeah,
agent or something like that.
yeah.
So
We've got 4 more pieces of news. Let's start with the happy, go to the somber, and then we'll go to the two sad. One
yeah,
enraging, one worrying.
okay,
So, the happy, the cat,
yeah.
Traded has announced the 3rd tournament. They're doing a 3rd tournament. This is what's interesting to me. You know what I mean? The scene as a whole, in terms of the impact side, is contracted a little bit, right? With the loss of the standalone land, the prize pools.
Yes.
But we've seen EPL, we've seen Trade It come in.
there are a lot of other
Yeah,
tournaments, not
Playbay,
mail-ins, but
Fast
they're
Cup,
especially in
all of
Europe.
that's just Europe. Yeah,
Yeah,
all of that's just Europe. And the thing is, this is my worry, right? Before we get onto this, and that is, if if organizations do not back teams, right, and there's not going to be a willingness of a third party organizer to run an event because you're not going to have the names of Astralis and Big and the
right,
names that are known because they've been established in the Counter-Strike scene outside of the women's scene. You're not going to have those names. So
for sure.
if I'm a tournament organizer and I'm looking at this and saying, okay, instead of inviting Guild and Big and NIP, and I've got a team called Pigeons, a team called Cheetahs, a team called Let Her Cook, because they're not
Those are good
signed.
names. What do you mean? Let Her Cook is
It's nothing against the
beautiful.
names, but it's the fact
Yeah,
that
they're not
there's no
signed. There's
branding
no
behind it.
right.
Yeah, so this is the worry: is that if the market for these orgs being an impact scene collapses and you just get a bunch of free agent teams going into season 6, you might not also have these tournament organizers willing to pick up these smaller tournaments to run these smaller tournaments. So, but all credit to where credit is due. Traded are running a third edition of the FE Masters. 16 teams are going to be in it. So I think that's fantastic. Permita, Violet, Nemesis, Spirit, Ents, Guild for now, Astralis, Big, NIP, and Navi are all teams that have been invited. So really look forward to it. It is going to be in May, mid-May, so literally right before the
Yeah,
Impact Land.
big, 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 big. Other good news to come forward. A little bit more on the people's side here. Well, DreamHack Melbourne happened the other
Oh
day,
yes,
the other weekend, and Lucy was down there in an analyst role, which was really cool to see. And she was joined by I need a box because I'm about as tall as this monster can in front of me.
oh
Bibian.
my. Listen, I saw the tweet about the box. By the way, I thought it was
that was
funny
is so good.
because I
There's
saw it on day one, and it was literally like,
it was listen, I love Viv. She's great. But it's really funny to see her in comparison to somebody who is as tall as Lucy and as tall as I forget who. I think they were switching between Maniac and somebody else in the hosting role. So very interesting. I personally it was in the wrong time zone for me. I tried to stay up and watch it.
yeah,
I missed
I
most of
didn't
it.
catch
I
it.
think I
I
caught
saw
it.
clips on Twitter. That was about the
I
extent
caught
of.
bits and pieces of like the Party Astronauts game, but like at that point in the night, I was falling asleep at my desk, kind of thing. So, as far as I heard, she did an amazing job.
Yeah.
So, congrats to her. I mean, we've seen this with Seven Licious last season of Impact. She stepped in because, of course, the studios is in Sweden. It's in Jönköping, I believe. So, or
Yes.
Stockholm, something like that. It's in a it's in a set spot. So she was able to go and
Yeah.
participate on the analyst desk. I think she even did a little bit of casting this season already for ESL as well. So pretty cool stuff all across the board. And congratulations to BB for doing that. And now she gets to enjoy a little bit of time at home and then come back and get going with the rest of her team in preparations for Dallas. So huge on that. Continuing forward then with the news and
Yeah.
specifically within North America, we're going to announce Benita is actually calling it quits. She is retiring.
Yes.
Big career for her. She had a multi game as well career for her because I believe she switched over to Valorant for a little bit. I want to say she did, unless I'm just wrong. I could be wrong.
No, she did. She was in Valorant for a while. She was actually FlyQuest Red's IGL, I believe.
Right.
But I do want to say, you mentioned the Monster Can, and I didn't see the tweet, and then I just saw the tweet of the WhatsApp group or whatever going with. Oh God, fantastic!
It was great.
It was fantastic. But
Yeah.
back on Benita for a second, I will say, what an unbelievable career! Like, I mean, obviously winning title after title with CLG Red back in the day. Part of probably the strongest core that CLG had, or one of the strongest lineups that
Yeah.
CLG had back in the day when they were like actually a positive team in advance, like a 9-7 team in advance, and they were just incredible. Um, and then to go to Valorant and actually, like, I don't think she has any titles in Val, but to be as competitive as she was in Val. Like
Right.
FlyQuest were always in the conversation, and
And they still
would be
are.
yeah, and they would be good to spring a good upset. Like they're a team that if Shopify weren't on their game, they could take them down. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it was always a solid team, FlyQuest Red in Valorant as well. So to be successful in 2 esports, we know how insanely difficult that is. But to be successful in 2 esports and have the career that she had is phenomenal. So another legend of the scene. And I know I throw that word around a lot, but I'm talking
There's a
like,
lot of legends.
but she is truly, if we ever get the Esports Hall of Fame again, which used to be a thing for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Um, let me put it this way: the Esports Awards they do at the end of the year,
Yes.
he could be a lifetime achievement award member. Like
Yeah.
that is amongst the company that you could put her.
100%.
So fantastic stuff.
All right. I got. Yeah, it's this last piece of news coming in. Then, you've put
Two
this
more.
one in. Two more.
Two more. The Czech Republic.
Oh, yeah. I missed the Czech Republic one. So the Czech Republic did not apply to IESF for the Counter-Strike Women's qualifiers, which meant a bunch of the players that have been gearing up and getting ready for it and were excited for it do not even have a chance to try and qualify.
I know this is people don't understand that this is a huge, like, this is a problem. This is a problem when you let these organizations, these national organizations, sure, the one in Canada, like you explained, it's legit. It does work outside the IESF.
Yeah.
Totally get that. Totally understand that. There are some that exist solely for the purpose of the IESF stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And
Brazil, Czech Republic, Poland are some examples. And this is the problem, right? Is that some of these, for some reason or another, they get somebody at the top that has their head on backwards and is living in the past or is living in a different world.
Doesn't fill it out.
Right.
It's a simple form.
But
like,
it's not. I don't think it's the simple form because the way it made me sound, and I would have to confirm, but the way it made it sound is that the men's side is going to compete and the women's side isn't going to compete.
yeah. It's literally as simple as just saying, we have a women's team. We will get a women's team. And they just didn't.
And it reminds me of Poland. I don't know if you remember 2 years ago.
Yep, I remember Poland.
They said the Polish Federation said there shouldn't be a separation between men's and women's Counter-Strike. Okay. But even if you believe that, you're not running the tournament, and the tournament that's being run is that separation. So wouldn't you want to enter both tournaments? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's so infuriating. So it's the fact that it's the game of Counter-Strike and a global tournament, especially with the prize pool that's going to be, is being denied through bureaucratic means, through red tape, right? That's not what esports is for. Esports has always been a climate that can cut through red tape that traditional sports are very much hampered by, right?
Right.
So that's and now by having these federations and all this crap go on, you enable that environment where red tape will deny, unrightfully deny players the opportunity to compete. That's my problem with this, and it's happened in South Africa with that MESA, whatever, the South African board game organization or whatever.
You need to be a college student or whatever.
Absolute nonsense that organization is. But in South Africa, it's happened in Brazil. They're currently under investigation, mind you. It's happened in the Czech Republic. We saw the issue with the Romanian payments to IESF. Remember that story came out last year?
Yep.
So it's very frustrating. This has enabled a world of corruption. Probably, I mean, you could argue because it starts at the top, but outside of that, they don't really, they're not actually at fault for this. You know what I mean? The IESF. It's more the federation that's at fault for it. But this is what's enabled, and it's really, really, really infuriating. So,
okay, last bit of news. I think you're going to talk about this one a little bit more as well.
Yes, a small editorial.
Yeah.
And that is that as of right now, with it being almost May, we still don't have an announcement for Liga Femenina from Gamers Club. Now, historically, we have an announcement at the end of the previous season.
Yeah.
So, like last year, They did one in June, and they said we're going to run one, and this will be the dates of the LAN in December or something like that, right? November or so, whatever. We didn't get that announcement. And the Gamers Club Twitter has been very quiet. Now, I love Gamers Club. I love the people that work there. But there has been talk. It's been mentioned before on the interviews when we used to do the extras episodes, which, by the way, aren't totally dead, but we're both just
They're dead.
insanely busy these days. All right. Well, I was going to leave it open for
I
future.
specifically
Like,
killed them. No,
listen,
when
I
we
was
have
gonna
the
say,
listen, when we have the chance, when we have time, we might do them again.
yeah,
But
I
they
was going
take
to say
a lot
9,
of
12
time.
months from now. I don't want to say I know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I mean, I do. Nigma's going to win the LAN. No, I'm just teasing. But,
Damn.
but
Okay. Vote of confidence for North America.
yeah.
Yippee!
No, but my point is that you could have said that in like season 2, season 3, and you'd have been totally right. That was my point. Not that I actually think that. I'm just, but no, but it's a worry because we've had interviews before on here, like with Boker, and she said like it's really been a scale back from Gamers Club on the women's scene. Like the strength of the women's scene in Counter Strike was at its height because Liga Femenina was a monthly to bi-monthly tournament. They were running 6 to 8 a year, and which coincided with the Gamers Club events. You know, what I mean, you have Gamers Club Series C, Series B, Series A, Series S, and you have Epita Berta, which is open, right?
Right.
Which is at the very bottom. But you have them every month, and they skip a month or two because you have the player breaks, or you have the holidays, or you have Carnival, or whatever, right? But Liga Femenina ran almost parallel to that. Then we moved to 2 a year with 4 online tournaments and 2 major finals a year, right? And one of them was a LAN one year. And then last year we moved to, well, we're just going to merge the 2 online qualifiers into one online tournament and then have one bigger finals at the end of the year. Now we are 5 months into the year almost, and it's dead quiet. You can hear a pin drop from them. So that's my concern. My concern is not only is the scene shrinking with impact globally, North America shrinking with the opportunities they're removing from North America to go to LAN, shrinking in Asia, shrinking in Oceania, shrinking in South Africa because they've done the same. They've removed the opportunities. It's shrinking in Brazil because we don't see the same commitment from Gamers Club. So that's my concern. It's got to change. I would say, look, if Gamers Club want to put on these events, that's great. Cut the prize pool in half and run more of them. That's what I would. Instead of saying I'm going to throw $30,000 at this LAN or at this tournament, I would rather you come out and say I'm going to run 3 tournaments and throw $10,000 each, because the teams will totally throw down for 10 grand. They're willing to do it in Europe for half that much. Brazil certainly will do the same.
They'll throw down for less.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my concern. So I don't know. Maybe it's a sponsorship thing with the Tau because they were bank, and obviously the banking environment right now is not great.
No,
with the interest rates going up across the world, but you don't know. You don't know what the issue is, and I just hope that it isn't a continued contraction, because the scene's going to wind up hurting if this is the case globally. I mean, if Impact continues to shrink and then Gamers Club shrinks, we're going to be back in the 2021 days, and I don't want to be there.
We'll have to brace for Impact, Penny.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
See you later.
And with that note, we're going to get out. But first.
Whoa, hold on. Hold on there.
First, Parks, what are you watching?
I'm watching Twitter because a certain team put out some GIFs, where they put out some funny GIFs. And yeah, we'll be watching these, writing it down. Yeah, a little bit contracts have been signed. Yeah, we'll see when the announcement is. I of course I have the insider knowledge. I know everything. I can't I've been sworn to secrecy. I can't say anything. Yeah, the one thing I can say is this might be my end of time with the Shimmer Girls. We aren't sure where I sit with all of that yet. We're figuring it. We're trying to figure it out, but it's what happens when the team did a really good job of making sure they got signed, and I helped them along with it, but I wasn't ever really part of the conversation just because in my eyes it was never going to be about me. Cray. So yeah, I'm gonna be watching out for the announcement on Twitter. Everybody
Nice.
else should be as well. Um,
Oh,
we had the public run of Shimmer jerseys. A bunch of people bought Shimmer
yes.
jerseys. So, um, yeah, that's it. The Shimmer jerseys that got bought, like that is it. Unless they come to me and they like plead and beg, like and you're paying you're probably gonna be paying as much, if not a little bit more.
That's not cray.
That's so Raven. Trying to make
Nobody.
hip TV show references from the early 2000s over here.
Yo, whatever.
Did you
bro.
see the reboot? Did you watch the reboot, Benny?
No, I'm too
Oh,
old for
Raven's
this,
Home.
okay?
Raven's Home was
I'm too old for this. I'm
amazing.
surprised you could read it because I wrote it in cursive first.
That's fine.
And I'm like, yeah, about
I know my
half
cursive.
of our viewership now can't read it. In fact, there's probably only one viewer who can read, and that's going to be Reef. Shout out Reef. But aside from that, there's going to be no other. They're too young. They're not taught cursive
Too
anymore.
young. They're not taught. I mean, I know cursive. I know enough cursive that I can get by. So,
he knows how to sign his name.
I know how to sign my name. I can write pretty good cursive on the other bits of it. It's just like as soon as a doctor, you're talking about me not knowing cursive. Doctors can't even write. Like, what do you want? Here, I have this. It's just 3 scribbles. Like, what do you want from me? Anyways, Benny.
Oh, that's amoxicillin. 500 I don't even know, bro.
They go by the indication of how many loops there are. I guess is how loopy are you supposed to be?
It's like a tree. When you cut the tree and they count the rings.
Yeah,
how old it
how
is.
many rings are there? Is how many drugs I'm supposed to give you. All right, Benny, what are you watching for the next 2 weeks in our little bit of mini off season?
Promotion and relegation season, my friend. It's promotion and relegation season in football. So I'm watching. I mean, there's not.
You're enjoying your retirement, aren't you?
Yeah, I am very much enjoying my retirement. So I've golfed 3 times in 8 days. Of course, I'm enjoying my retirement. But you can see on my wrist, by the way, where I had the wristband and the. So, but no, obviously with the slowdown of events, I'll be watching maybe the Cash Cups as well. I might see if I can catch the demo of the Aussie one because I love Australia.
Another one's coming out this weekend.
Yeah. So, but aside from that, actually, I'm just going to be watching the celebrations for Worcester City, who managed to win the Hellenic League Premier Division this week. So big congrats to them. They're getting promoted. One of the non-league sides I like. And the other one, Reigate Priory, they're getting promoted as well. So aside from the Cash Cups, I don't really got anything, Parks. It's kind of an awkward 2 weeks where we really aren't getting anything.
Well, you can watch the Shimmer games on my channel. They get cast by LCA, so you can keep up with them. They're doing all right in Maine right now.
Yeah, they're doing. What are they? 4-2.
3-3.
3-3. Okay.
Sitting 500s. I mean, it's their first season in Maine. A whole new system is being brought in because Florence is getting them into shape and everything, and they've done.
Yeah, it's also a much tougher step. Like making the step from open to inter isn't as steep as making the step from inter to Maine.
It's honestly, it's kind of funny if you're a really good open team. It's honestly a lot harder than being an IM in the early stages, just because all the open teams are like it could be a main stack, it could be a main stack, could be an advanced stack that just didn't qualify for advanced, didn't qualify for main via the cups that they have, the qualifiers.
Yeah,
and so they have to pug it out and open. And then their whole thing is we're making it to playoffs so we can be number 1 and qualify for advanced first season kind of thing. So you just run into a team that goes 16-0 and dominates everybody. But anyways, that's...
I mean, to me it gets steeper all the way up. Like open to intermediate, the jump isn't too bad, but then like intermediate to main it's steeper, but then main to advance is a lot harder.
There's a big jump between the two.
And then advanced to ECL is impossible challenge. It's very, very, very.
There's a graphic out there that would support the opposite view, but that graphic is so funnily bad it doesn't make sense at all.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
You're looking, it's like NA ECL is up here and
NA
Advanced is down here in terms of hardness, and it's like there's no that is not true at all. It's not weighted in any
It's a tough division.
It wasn't weighted in any way, shape, or form correctly. So. Anyways, that's going to be it for us. I've got to go cast in like 20 minutes, so that's where the episode will end. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment. We like reading the comments. We don't get too many of them, so we read every single one. Like and subscribe. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time as per usual. Thank you so much, and bye for now.